All right. I am so thrilled and honored to introduce Amy Tyson, who is also a Team Women member, okay, first and foremost. And we're thrilled to be able to have her come share her insights with you. We were talking in the fall, and she told me a little bit about her business and what she speaks on. And it's like the blend of science and trends. And I'm like, please come talk to us. What's happening in 2022? I just wanted to know as we were going into budget planning and planning for the whole organization. You know, it's like I said, this 2020, it's just been quiet. You know, it's like this quiet. So how do you, how do you serve people when it's so quiet? You know, so that's why today, amidst all of the things, it's fun to see you all here. But Amy comes, I'm going to read your background so I don't miss a thing. She comes to us with a metaphysics. She comes to metaphysics from a background in microbiology, technology, and distance learning. What a blend of talent. You know, her early career was spent at the University of Minnesota, where she won the equivalent of an Emmy for science teaching and education while being the director of distance learning for the Bell Museum of Natural History. What a bio, you know, and how timely your career and your skill is. After a rather significant career shift in 2007, she now guides her clients to design their life destinies authentically and in harmony with the world. And I will say, since you've been on our agenda, our program, people have come up to me saying they've worked with her one-on-one, and she's absolutely amazing to work with. Yeah. She connects with the hidden physical and spiritual support systems that are all around us and leverages them to bring in quantum levels of success. This in turn brings more happiness, harmony, and joy to life. Can we get an amen? Yeah. Who wants that? Yeah, so come on up. She also holds a master's degree from Mastery Academy of Chinese Metaphysics in Malaysia, including an MS in Feng Shui and an MS Bazi Destiny and Strategic Date Selection. Oh, that's so cool. I've read it so many times, but it still gives me goosebumps. Okay, so please welcome Amy Tyson. Yeah. Woo. And here's yours.
Thank you. For a minute there, I was thinking I didn't have much to, live up to. And then Crave walks in the door.
I know.
It's like, well, here I am. Hi, everybody online. So I'm Amy Tyson. I'm a metaphysics coach and consultant, and most people kind of go, what the heck is that? So back in 2007.
Maybe it was going backwards. Hang on a second. Sometimes because we just have to add to the drama.
That's right.
Yeah.
There we go.
I mean,
That's right. That's good. That's
yeah.
Good.
What would it be if we didn't have a glitch? Technically, yeah.
So in 2007, I started studying with Joe Yap of the Mastery Academy of Chinese Metaphysics over in Malaysia. And I started out in Feng Shui, but over the course of those years I was studying with him, actually I still study with him, I branched out into these other branches. So as Katie was saying, I have what we consider master's degrees in Feng Shui and destiny analysis and strategic date selection and some other stuff. So when I say I do Feng Shui, people are like, well, okay, so you're going to come and tell me how I paint my front door. But first of all, they want to know how to say it. So I say it Feng Shui. When you're in other parts of the world, they say Feng Shui. They say Feng Shui. So I think we need a class on how to say it. But I say it Feng Shui. And so they think I'm going to come and tell them what color to paint their front door, or what color to put in their bedroom, or if they should put these little icons all over the place. We have Jane Morrison, who does beautiful interior design. I do not do interior design. I do not come into your home and make it look like a Chinese.
Hey, Amy.
I'm working with a lot of the invisible things. Like, you guys are kind of invisible over here, but I'm going to keep coming back to you as we go on. So
Perfect.
I practice the Feng Shui.
Can you speak up just a little bit?
Oh, sure. Can you hear me now?
Our virtual attendees are having a little trouble hearing you.
Okay, I'll stand closer. Is that better?
Perfect. Thank you.
Oh, geez, this is going to be hard not to walk around. All right. So what I do is I'm actually looking at the landform and I'm optimizing the energy in your home so it can actually increase your own personal Wi-Fi so that you can start to see the opportunities that come to you and take advantage of them. So it's not about interior design. Of course, we want beautiful homes, but I'm actually connecting you in with that energy source that's out there. And what is Bazi? You heard that phrase, that term a second ago. Bazi is looking at your destiny when you're born. You can think of it sort of like Western astrology, but it's looking at different things in different ways. So it's based on your birth date, and this is what a Bazi chart looks like, and it tells me a story. And it helps me to help you understand your own set of strengths and to manage your limitations so that you know what choices to make and what actions to take. If you've ever been to a Chinese restaurant, show of hands, that has the paper placemat on the table. First thing you do is you look at, what am I? Oh, I'm a tiger. Well, I don't like monkeys, but I really like horses and I like dogs. Or I'm a monkey. I don't like tigers, but I really like dragons and rats. You know one piece of your Bazi chart. That's your year you were born. And this is the year of the water tiger. So anyone born in 2022 will have the water tiger as their year of birth. But you also have a month animal, a day animal, and an hour animal, and then the year just throws a whole new thing in there, and that's what we're going to talk about today. So in a nutshell, what I do is I help my clients understand their life so that they can design their destiny authentically and in harmony with the world. And it's all about elevating yourself so that you are the right person at the right time, in the right place when opportunities come. Because oftentimes you're in the right place at the right time, but you're not the right person to take advantage of those opportunities. So my job is to help you become the right person, and I'm going to start doing that today with you. So I'm starting out with this question. Who's in control of your life? The answer is, of course, you are. However, when we bump up against problems or differences of opinions, it can bring frustrations out, right? You guys agree? Frustration can ensue. And when we get frustrated, then we start to go into fear. Maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe I'm not smart enough. I'm not worthy. And then we start to worry. Worry that perhaps our lives aren't going to turn out like we'd hoped they'd turn out. So what if we look at life and yes, we see those frustrations, we see that fear, and we see that worry. But what if we could turn that frustration to fascination, that fear into faith, and that worry into wonder? Would that make a difference in your life? So let's start with frustration. So frustration is kind of that all-encompassing feeling that we're not in control. We can get really frustrated with what's going on around us. Like we just can't control what's happening. I have a friend, his name is Dr. Terry Wu. Some of you may know him. He's a neuroscientist based right here in Minnesota. And he was talking about a research project that they had done where they placed volunteers into a dark room. And then they pumped in loud, obnoxious music. And they were testing stress and anxiety responses. What they noticed when they did this experiment the first time, dark room, loud, obnoxious voices, blood pressure and heart rate increased incredibly quickly. So in the next round, they gave each participant, each volunteer, a button. And they said, when you press that button, it will control the volume of that loud, obnoxious voice. So they repeated the experiment, and every single one of the participants, what did they do? Press the button. And even though the volume did not change, they did not see the heart rate increase or the blood pressure rise like they had done before. The button gave a sense of control. We like to control things in our life. So now, what happened in 2020 was COVID, right? We didn't have a button to push. This was our button. We decided to hoard toilet paper because it gave us a sense of control. So when I talk about turning frustration into fascination, it's not to be fascinated by, the rolls of toilet paper coming out of Target or Costco. It's about, can you surrender things in your life that you just can't control? So think about that a minute. What can you surrender that is causing you frustration that, it's out of your control anyway? One of the things that my metaphysics tools allows me to do is add some predictability to life. Because if you knew something was coming, it no longer is a surprise, and you can feel a little bit of control by the choices and actions you take because you know it's coming. So 2020, many people consider a cruel twist of fate, that it was just terrible. But you know what? It was fated. We go through these 20-year cycles, and if you think back 20 years ago to 2001, September 11th, that's 20 years ago. We were going through another shift just like we're going through today. And I was talking about in 2019 to my clients at my yearly summit that we see something coming, something's on the horizon, and we need to start preparing for it. And then when it happened, I was telling my clients, don't wait. Don't just take those 2 weeks off in quarantine and think it's going to be over, because this is going to be a while. So make sure that you're pivoting into something new and adapting to this new way of life, because that's exactly what's happening, is we're going into a new era. So just like there's health forecasts, there's weather forecasts, there's business forecasts, we can forecast what's coming on a big scale and on a personal scale with the tools that I use. So you're sitting there going, okay, Amy, come on, forecast for us. What's coming? So that's what we're going to talk about. So 2020, we saw this wave coming. That wave was COVID. And do you remember when everybody was on New Year's Eve going, good riddance to 2020, slam the door on 2020. It's over, thank goodness. Did anybody ever hear about the iPhone 9? Anybody own an iPhone 9? Do you remember the iPhone 9? There was not an iPhone 9. It skipped right from 8 to 10. Well, that's what 2021 was. Big wave still. This wasn't going away. Big wave, still issues that were going on. So it's kind of like 2020 and 2021 blended together, right? Because people are always like, was that 2020 or 21? When did COVID start? So now the question everyone has for me is this wave going to crest and come gently onto the beach? Or what's going to happen? Not only do we have the wave, we have Godzilla, guys. So this start of the year predicted to be very nice and calm. The end of the year, not so much. So Godzilla can kill you. You can't kill Godzilla. So I want you to be prepared for what's coming, because you need to know. So Godzilla's on the horizon. And I'm going to take you through this Bozzi chart right here, even though you might not know what you're looking at. I'm going to explain it in a way that you can see what I'm talking about. So when you look at this chart, you can see over in the year, over on the far right corner, it says year 2020, and it says water tiger. Okay, remember I said the year of the water tiger. Right next to it is the month, also a water tiger. The day is an earth rat, and then the hour is a wood tiger. Look at all those tigers in that chart, and you're going, I don't know what that means. It's okay. When you look at this, what colors do you see the most of? Green and blue. So green is wood, and blue is water. Our chart this year is full of wood and water. Now, if you're familiar with 5 elements, it's water, wood, fire, earth, metal. I'm only talking water and wood in our chart, and a little bit of earth. What this means is when you think of a piece of wood in a lot of water, what does the wood do? It floats. So that's creating a lot, oh, I just got goosebumps. It creates a lot of emotions because water's very emotionally driven. So what it's showing us is that people are going to be emotional in 2022, and they're going to make decisions based on the impulse of those emotions. And I don't know about you, but I've heard a lot of people out there are very fearful of what's going on in the world. When Russia invaded Ukraine, there's a lot of fear, and it's still there. And that's the prevalent emotion that's going to be permeating worldwide is that element of fear. So the information for you today, or the takeaway today, is don't fall into that fear emotion. Control your emotions, because this year will favor those who have courage. Let that sink in. It will favor those who have courage. So don't buy into the fear. The second thing I'm going to show you about this chart is all across the top, except for that little bit of a minute, you see yang wood, yang earth, yang water, and yang water. All of those elements are yang. So there's an expression of yin and yang of each element. All of them are yang. What do you think that means?
Imbalance.
Everyone wants to be the boss. Everyone wants to be in control. Yep. No one wants to take orders. That goes from country level, it goes to government level, and it goes to population level. We are going to see more new businesses started, and it's already happening. I think Minnesota had a stat about that, that businesses starting this year are on the rise. But here's the issue. Many of those new businesses are not going to make it through the first year because there's no metal supporting them in the chart. Zero, none, not one piece. And metal is all about the ability to think. So here's the message for you. If you are someone, or your company can work with new businesses, can support new businesses, make sure you're marketing that, because they're going to need a lot of help to get through this first year together. The stress level, the taxation, the type of business they structure, employees, if they're hiring, a marketing. It's a competitive world this year. You have to know how to sell yourself. Now next, remember all those tigers? When something comes in to disrupt those tigers, we know there's going to be some major event. April is the month where we may see the tip of the hand of what's coming this fall. So just keep an eye on the economy and the stock market in general. When August hits, remember when I was talking about if you're a tiger, you don't like the monkey? Well, look, it's monkey in August. So when August comes in, it's an earth monkey. Pardon me. Earth is going to contaminate that water. Monkey is going to clash that tiger, and it really loves this rat. And it's going to combine with that rat. It's going to completely destroy the chart. So the forecast is an economic downturn in August, likely a plummeting of the stock market. The blip may happen. I know, I'm just a wealth of great information. Don't worry, don't worry. We're going to tie it all together, don't worry. So, no wonder there's fear out there, right? So just know this is what's on the horizon. You know it now. Is it going to be a surprise, or can you be a little fascinated how it's going to be playing out? But you're in the right position now to do something about it. It means make sure you're well diversified. Talk to your financial advisor. Can you ride out a 2008 when everything crashed? Or do you need to be a little bit more liquid? Do you need to be in more secure, stable investments? Even better, can you become more liquid so that when everything goes on sale, you can buy? Because that's when you're going to make the money. Warren Buffett says, be fearful when others are greedy. Be greedy when others are fearful.
Say that again. No, can you say that one more time?
Be fearful when others are greedy. Be greedy when others are fearful. When the stock market drops, that is not when you're selling. That's when you're buying. All right? So you need to talk to I'm not a financial advisor. The advice I give you today, can might be taken as financial advice, but talk to your advisors and make sure that you are well positioned and not just investing in U.S. stocks, that you've got things overseas as well. So here's some other things that we see in 2020. Wealth outlook volatile. People are investing in fake things. NFT, you can make money in that if you know what you're doing, but please know what you're doing when you're looking at that. Competitive, it's a competitive year. You need to know how to sell yourself. COVID. What's going on with COVID? We're going to see all types of variants continue. However, the transition is going to be now towards medicine rather than the focus on vaccines, finally. And then there's still going to be those production or those supply chain issues happening throughout this year. And there's more, but these are some of the key ones. So what the heck is going on? What's going on is we are in this 20-year shift from period 8 to period 9. I know the names are so great. You know, period 8 to period 9. It happens every 20 years. The shift occurs in 2024. So consider this pre-sale. This is the time to get yourself all in alignment so that you're ready for period 9. And you guys have seen it. You've seen the shifts happening. And I'm going to talk about 4 of the 9 trends I think there are. I'm going to talk about 4 of the trends that we see on the horizon for period 9. Now, period 8 was about young men creating tech. So if you had been talking with me in 2002 and 2003, I would have been talking about social media. I would have been talking about some of the things, the stuff on the computer that would be rising. And you probably would have been thinking to yourself, oh, maybe I should be investing in Facebook or Twitter, Instagram, something like that. So this is the information I'm giving you. It's pre-sale, how you need to position yourself for the next 20 years. Number 1, you are going to like this one, is the rise of women. All right. So just so you know, there are 9 periods total. So we're at the very tail end. This is the last one, and then we go back to 1. So the next one won't be till 2044. So rise of women means a couple of things. Number 1, women, we will be seeing rise in power both politically and in businesses, on boards and things like that finally. It doesn't mean squashing men. It's mean learning how to lead side by side. What that means for us is that we need to up our skill. We need to up our negotiation skill. We need to up our leadership skill. We need to up that inner courage skill that we are good enough to be leaders. So think on how you can do that. It's exactly what the Team Women mission is to inspire and raise women up. They are positioned beautifully for period 9. Second, the rise of women actually started in 2017 with the Me Too movement, but look how it's gained traction just in the last few years. Second one is technology. You're like, wait a minute, you just told me that period 8 was all about technology. Well, this is different. Technology is going to be permeating every aspect of our life. AI technology in all of that supply chain, it's just going to go through the roof. And if you're resisting technology just personally or in your business, you will get left behind. So make sure that you're embracing it, at least trying, and learning it and bringing those new things in. Number 3 is security. I'm sorry to say, but period 9 is a really war-like energy, a lot of fire. So it's not surprising that we had this type of conflict breaking out between Russia and Ukraine. It's not unheard of to possibly see it between China and Taiwan as well. But more importantly, it's also cybersecurity. No longer can we take for granted that our information is safe on the web. No longer can we take for granted that our companies and our clients' information is safe. We have to make sure that we are keeping ourselves safe with some sort of security, both personally and online. And number 4 is flexibility. Inc. just released a study that they had done that 70% of the younger generation is passing up promotions if it means they have to go back and work in the office. So flexibility is about, flexibility from an employee standpoint is giving your employees flexibility of where they're working and what they're working on. And then flexibility from the employee standpoint is to make sure you can work with little or no supervision and still produce and perform for your employer. So the flexibility goes both ways. So think about how you can bring flexibility into your workforce and your workplace. So those are the 4 trends that are coming to period 9. There's more, but that's the ones I'm going to share with you today. So now that you have this predictability, can you be fascinated by how it plays out? Yeah, it's a little scary. That's what this year is about. It's a little scary. It's about you becoming more of who you are. It's stepping into yourself this year. So whatever that means to you, make sure that you're paying attention to how you're being nudged and led, because that's what it's all about, is expanding who you are. Make different choices now because you know. And then surrender what you can't control. Because you can't control even the woman sitting next to you, let alone the weather or the government. The only person you can control is you. So take action on what you can control. You can try. You can try, but take action on you, what you can control. So now let's talk flipping fear into faith. We're going to go back to that research study of those poor test subjects in that dark room. In this third and final round, what they did is they put a warning light on the wall. And they told those test subjects that when the light goes on, you will have 5 seconds before the loud, obnoxious voice starts. When the light was off, they're safe. When the light comes on, they have 5 seconds until the loud, obnoxious voice sound. What happened in this round is that the light went on and the test subjects developed coping mechanisms so that when the loud, obnoxious voice started, the heart did not race and the blood pressure did not rise. Fear. Fear is that deep emotion inside of us, that fear of failing, fear of not being good enough, fear of not being worthy, maybe fear of being too successful, that we've all learned how to cope with, right? That imposter syndrome would be one of those things that we do to cope with it. But what happens over time is that fear can turn into health challenges, physical challenges, and emotional challenges. So what I'd like you to think about is, how can you stop some of the stories you tell yourself? Because we want to turn fear into faith. But if you are busy telling your stories to yourself about, oh, she acted that way, or she said that way, or she did or didn't do something because of the story you tell yourself, or even if you're telling a story about yourself to yourself, I know people do that too. Okay, can you have a little bit more faith in other people? Or what about lack of faith in your own ability? Maybe at one point you did something and you failed, and you're just like, well, I can't do that because I tried to go into business for myself and it didn't work out, so I'm never going to do that again. Or what about having lack of faith in other people? You went into a business arrangement and they betrayed you and you lost everything, and you're never going to do that again because you're scared. Or maybe somebody you were dating betrayed you, and now you look at every person you want to date that they're going to do the same thing. So we want to flip fear into faith. And when I was researching this, I thought, meditation is a way to do that, because really the opposite of fear is faith. And so I started researching meditation. I'm like, okay, who uses it? Well, Jerry Seinfeld is credited with saying he loves meditation more than money. In fact, he loves meditation more than about anything else in his life. And the same goes for the CEO of LinkedIn, the former CEO of Medtronic, and the former CEO of United Fuels, and you can probably think of hundreds and hundreds of other examples. But those three CEOs say that meditation has given them the laser-like focus and the competitive edge in the business world because they do it regularly and they get some of their best ideas. So we're going to experiment with that today. And I'm going to see if that's true. Can it help us with laser-like focus and turn fear into faith? So we're actually going to do a 6-minute meditation. Quick, right? Who doesn't have 6 minutes? But there's 2 things I need to share with you before we do that. First one is the word divine connection. I'm going to use that term, and what it means in this sense is you're going to take your hand and you're put it above your head, and you're going to take your other hand and put it above your head. Do this at home in your offices too. Nobody sees you. I can see you. Wiggle your fingers and put them together. Okay, on the count of 3, I want you to open your hands and then clap them together. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Okay. Where your hands met together is what we're going to call your divine connection. Okay, this is a very special place. So that's divine connection. The other term I'm going to use is heart center. Heart center is the 4th chakra. If you're familiar with chakras, it's right here in your heart. All right, so those are the 2 terms I'm going to use. Now, you guys just get to settle into your chair, feet flat on the floor, hands on your lap, but not touching, or in any way that makes you comfortable. I'm going to have you just close your eyes. And you're going to take a deep breath in through your nose. And at the top, you're going to hold it. Take a little bit more air in. And then you're going to exhale through your mouth. Oh, beautifully done, everybody. Now, the next time you take that air in, I want you to see love and peace and joy coming in through your nose. And at the top, hold it. Take in a little more air. And exhale frustration, fear, and worry out. Now continue to just breathe gently. And from your divine connection, see white crystal light, rays of light, diamonds of light, coming down from that divine connection and filling your body, filling that physical body with these beautiful white pieces of light. And this white light is vibrating at a level of love. And as it spreads throughout your body, it is transforming every cell into your body into a vibration of love. Now I want you to see that white, crystal, beautiful light begin to expand outside of your body, 2 inches, 4 inches, 6 inches, until it's an arm's distance around you in every direction, above and below and around you. Just this bubble of beautiful white light around you. Now I want you to ask that this beautiful white light transform any aspect of you above, below, and around you into a vibration of love. Now ask that any aspect that is attached to you that is not yours be transformed into the vibration of love and returned to sender. This would be remnants of someone's negative comments to you, their negative vibes that are stuck to you, or anything that is no longer serving you like a belief or a habit. Ask that it be transformed and returned to sender or to its next dimension. It's time to bring back all aspects of ourselves that we may have lost, or maybe we gave to someone else, like the energy we gave a past argument or a discussion, or we maybe gave our power away to someone else. Ask that any aspects of yourself that you've left in other places be returned to you, transformed into this new high vibration of love. Now drop into your heart center. So from your head into your heart. And imagine a scene that brings you great joy and peace. Maybe it's on the beach in a tropical paradise, or cozy in front of the fire, or snuggled up in bed. Whatever scene brings you that joy, I want you to see it or think it or feel it in your heart center. And allow that feeling to grow. And now see it shooting out from your heart center to the ends of the universe, into the quantum realm. And now ask that it be returned to you, magnified 10 times. Now, I'd like you to think of one thing that you are working toward or on in your life. What is it that you truly want right now? Now, I want you to see that which you want coming to you. You have it. You've accomplished it. You've achieved it. It's coming to you perfectly. Allow the feeling that that brings to grow in your heart center. And release that to the ends of the universe, to the quantum realm. Ask that the steps needed to accomplish this be revealed to you. Ask that the people that you need to be put into play. And ask that all aspects fall into place and that your results are all that you wished for and more. Now finally say thank you to all of your divine beings that are working with us today. And when you are ready to come back into the room, you can place your hands over your eyes and gently massage your face and come back into this room wide awake and alert, connected in and ready to move on with flipping fear into faith. Y'all look different. That was about 7 minutes, and you feel different, don't you? By getting rid of what's not yours and bringing back what is, you can actually shift everything inside of you. So flipping fear into faith is having faith to take that next step. If you got any message or an idea when you were doing that, write it down now before you lose it. Listen to that inner voice of yours and then follow the ideas that you get. And then have the faith to follow through on the ideas that you are taking action on. So now we're going to talk about worry to wonder. Does anybody worry about anything? Do you worry about your spouse? You worry about your health? You worry about your parents' health? Maybe you're worried about your children or that job interview or where your next client is going to come from. The list of worries can be a mile long. Did you know that only 91.3% of what we worry about never comes true? All right? That's what 8.7% ever comes true. That's an F. That's an F for worry. All right? So worry is a wasted emotion. The reason we do it is because our brains are super powerful, and our brains are like this Neanderthal thing that wants to keep us safe. So it keeps us worrying because if we worry, we won't do anything and then we're safe. Well, our brains are super powerful. I'm going to show you how powerful your brain is. So I want you to close your eyes again. Please do this along with us virtually too. No, we're not going to meditate again. I'm going to show you how powerful your brain is. So just get comfortable, close your eyes, go back to that relaxed state, and take a couple breaths if you need to. Just calm your mind again. I want you to allow today's distractions to fall away. Get that to-do list out of your mind. And I want you to imagine a lemon, a bright yellow, perfectly ripe lemon. And I want you to visualize that I'm holding this lemon in my hand, and I'm bringing it up to your nose so that you can smell that clean, crisp, juicy, lemony smell. And you watch as I take that lemon and I cut it into 4 equal lemon wedges. And you see the spray come out when I use the knife to cut. And the smell comes a little stronger. Now I want you to visualize you picking up a piece of that lemon and taking that lemon wedge, bringing it up to your mouth and biting into it. Now open your eyes. if you're like 99% of the population, you had a response to that, whether it was salivating or a shudder thinking about that lemon taste. So our brain is powerful. The default is to keep us worried. How many of you have a cell phone? Do you keep that in the default mode, or do you put your own pictures on it? Do you put your own apps on it? Do you put a password on it? Do you make sure that it has your ringtone? You don't leave your phone in default. Why are we leaving our brain in default? We can control what our brain thinks about if we are intentional. When we're intentional, we take action. And action is a huge thing that you can do to keep yourself from worrying. When you take action on things, it actually focuses your brain. So in the beginning of, what month are we, April? The beginning of March, I had this idea that I wanted to create a metaphysics mastery session where I shared every month on Zoom a meditation to connect you in with the month's energy, a divine message, tell you exactly what's going to be happening and to expect in the month, and then I share a metaphysics tool that you can use. So I teach you something. So last Friday, I taught on noblemen, how to get helpful people in your life. I'm giving everyone 30 days for free. You don't have to put in a credit card. You don't have to do much at all. You just say, yes, I'll do this. You'll have access to last week's recording, this month's meditation, next month's meditation, and next month's call. This is something I'm offering to you. If you'd like to do it, you just go to my website, amytyson.com, and you spell my name. It's really easy. It's like the word is, and then an E-N at the end. So you just go right there. If you decide that that's not for you, I want to leave you with this. For every moment that you spend worrying about what could go wrong, spend an equal amount of time focused on what could go right. So if you find yourself thinking about what's going to go wrong, why aren't they calling? Flip the switch from worry to wonder. Frustration, fear, and worry. So if we can flip that frustration to fascination, that fear into faith, that worry to wonder, don't you think that would change your entire life? Because who's in control of your life? You are. Thank you.